This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Hello and welcome to the iRacing Esports Network and the BSR MX5 Pro Series presented by Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick and alongside me this week is Tyler Maxon in the commentary booth and on the cameras as well. And we're here at Road America, a slipstream fest, Tyler, I'm sure. And these four races are going to be pretty chaotic, and it's quite a different circuit to what we visited at Mid-Ohio last week, of course. But this place, long straights, a lot of slipstream trains, and difficult to call the action today.
Yeah, definitely going to be very difficult to call the action. Welcome to Road America. This is a very difficult track to master, just because it is such a long track. We'll get up the race info here, and you can actually see the exact distance of the track. 6.4 kilometers in length. That's a very long track. We're at 22 degrees Celsius track temperature tonight. And like you said, the straightaways are so long, and it is going to provide some absolute insane draft and pack racing tonight.
Yes, that's what we're hoping for. Of course, in this series, we've got 4 15-minute races, and between each race, we apply a reverse grid, usually about 25 to 50 cars. And whatever the reverse grid is, we spin a wheel, and that decides the starting order for the next race. Of course, the trail's currently doing qualifying, and coming to the end of their qualifying session, I believe. So we'll soon be able to go onto the grid. But of course, as the championship unfolds, Tyler, these points do become more and more important. But this is a long series. I mean, this series takes something like 11 months, I believe, to get all the way through. And so these drivers must get so used to racing alongside one another. You pretty much know exactly how your opponent is going to react just as you approach them on circuit.
Yeah, I mean, every single one of these guys has experience racing with the other at one point or another because, like you said, 11 months to finish up the series. That's an insanely long time to get this entire series done. That's almost the entire year's worth of racing for these drivers. So they definitely get used to each other, get used to racing with each other. So should be an absolute load of fun to watch these guys race out again. But like you said, they got to get really used to running with each other because obviously even the pros who may not be super, let's say, experienced racing with the lower down AMs, they will still be forced to race with them because of the reverse grid and when they are coming through the field. So qualifying now is just ending, and we are gridding up here on the grid. So the grid is now up your screen.
Yes, and thankfully we don't have a formation lap. Hooray! Because it is a long one around this circuit, to say the least. And so it will be a standing start, of course, and leading that standing start will be Jack Ashton, second in the championship, and he starts on the pole position, the only driver under 2 minutes and 31. It's a long lap around this place. Ashley Beard starts in second place with Jamie Ayres in third, then it's Alex Cherney, Brian Holmes, Jason Cooper, who is the championship leader, Nars Carstensen, Adam McNally, Cesar Rizzo, and Nick McCann. That's the top 10 there. Stuart Dick, James McRitchie, Ben Mears, Rob Graham, David Ayres, Michael Barry, Mikey Key, Martin Sampson, Joe Mitchell, and Dale Benson. That's the top 30, and I'll let the other starters scroll through for you now because there are quite a few of them. A lot of drivers not setting qualifying times. That will be due to them getting a penalty in the previous race. And if you get a penalty, then you have to start from the pits in race 1 of the following meeting. And you may also have to start race 2 as well from the pits if you've done a couple of things wrong. But of course, yeah, Jack Ashton on the pole position. Remember, him and Ashley Beard, as you can see by their liveries, they are both Excite iRacing, and that is going to be a really important part of today's racing. How can these teams work together to work that slipstream for these very, very long straights around this circuit? Certainly do not count pretty much anyone from winning this race. We've got about 20 more seconds of gridding up before we'll have to go green. A couple of drivers may not make the starts. But now we are revving up the engines. We are about to get underway. The green lights will come on very, very soon. And yes, it's Jack Ashton starting from the pole position. Race 1 at Road America is underway. And Ashton gets a solid start. Long run down into turn 1. Of course, Beard straight away tries to nip into his slipstream. Jamie Ayres in 3rd place. No changes at the moment amongst the top 11. They've all got off the line very impressively. Almost 4 wide, a little bit further back. Almost maybe 3 wide, 2 by 2 in the end. But Ashton just about hanging on. Beard trying to go round the outside in his SimLab MX5. But is going to have to back out to that one. Carstensen gets ahead of Cooper. McNally and Rizzo a little bit side by side behind as well. But you can see how much Ashley Beard is having to defend. But we got through the first long straight. We've now got another one coming up as the pack will inevitably close in on one another going into turn 5.
Yeah, and there he goes. Cesar Rizzo gets hung out to dry there. Absolutely nowhere to slot into line. And he's going to lose 4 or 5 positions there just because of it. So you can see how much the draft is worth here. Right now, Jack Ashton getting a little bit of gap here. He's been closed in already by 0.2 of a second as there he goes to Ashley Beard. Outbreaks himself down into turn number 5, and that is going to cost him 4 or 5 positions there. But don't worry, because the draft is so significant, you could probably get there by Canada Corner.
Yes, he's just got to pick these moves correctly, but he's now in amongst the Swift Cooper Esports drivers rather than fighting with his own teammate out in the lead. You can see how Jack Ashton already with an 0.8 of a second lead. As long as that doesn't go too much over a second, the others should be able to catch back up. But Ayres will need a few strong corners here just to make sure that he stays within that slipstream range. Ashton, though, with an absolutely lightning start. The driver who maybe struggled a little bit last week at Mid-Ohio, but he's well in tune for today. 4 places gained for Mikey Key, by the way. Top of the AM drivers is Ben Mears. And then it is Key and Graham rounding out the top 3. So we'll keep an eye out on those guys. As very peacefully they go through the King. This is a remarkably clean start so far, Tyler. They're all being rather respectful of one another.
Yeah, and I was about to actually make a comment on that exactly. The start's been really, really clean. Considering this is Road America and the draft is so large, I'm actually surprised the drivers weren't so aggressive, but that also may have been the reason that they were a little bit calmer about getting underway and not really wanting to push the limits a bit too far and wrecking themselves out here on lap number 1, because we have seen that happen, and when you do that, it pretty much ruins your entire night because you inevitably get messed up with the reverse grid for races 2, 3, and 4. Especially if you don't get a large one. And here we go, Jamie Ayres and Brian Holmes side by side. Holmes, though, is going to pull up to the back of his teammate Jack Ashton, and they're going to go almost 3 wide here down into turn number 1.
Holmes gains 4 places, I think, in as many corners around the outside of his teammate, and it's still an Excite iRacing leader, but it's now an Excite iRacing 2nd place as well. Brilliant move there from Brian Holmes, and he's going to be able to make that one stick. Ashton now slots into 2nd place. I was thinking maybe Ashton was going to be able to pull away from these guys if he could break the draft a little bit more. Anything but, though, as he goes side by side. There's not enough of these Excite iRacing drivers, though, to block the circuit, as I think Jamie Ayres is going to try to exhibit as he tries to go to the inside. Now they do cover the entire circuit, though, as the track narrows into turn 5. And Brian Holmes trying to stick it round the outside. It'll be Ashton, though, who retakes the lead. Holmes is going to do well to hang on to 2nd place. Of course, they are just sparring with one another at the moment, as we've got a spin around in the background. Maybe Ben Mears from 2nd place out of the Amjars, I think, has just had an incident. Still going side by side is Holmes and Ashton. And, well, if they want to go side by side to the end of the race, they might be able to keep that top 2 positions. But this is quite incredible synchronized driving right now.
Yeah, so you're right. It actually was Benjamin Mears who goes around. We'll try to get a replay of that one post-race. but we're just going to stick right up here with the action. Here in the front, right now it's XI Racing 1 and 2 with Jamie Ayers in the SimLab car. Sitting back there in third place, Alex Cherney has a good start. He stays in fourth place. Now it's Carstensen as well. And another driver I'm actually really surprised he hasn't moved up as much as he has. Jason Cooper moved up no position since the start. That's not like Jason Cooper.
Yeah, remember, Beard as well basically gifted him a position, didn't he, with that off. But Cooper's actually been overtaken by Carstensen since the start. Oh, down the inside goes Ayers, that's deep in the SimLab car. But he knew what he was doing clearly, and he's up into second place. I mean, just expect this to be the case for certainly this first race, because we've got all these drivers in the top 10 so evenly matched. They are just going to be swapping positions constantly. Maybe in races 2, 3, and 4, as the reverse grids are applied, we might not quite see stuff like this, but appreciate it whilst it's last, because this is absolutely terrific. The top 12 drivers separated by 3 seconds at the moment across the line. Ayers having to defend, but he's given up the slipstream quite early on the race leader, Brian Holmes, and that'll be easy for Ashton to go straight down the outside. He's got the toe. He's got a few more kilometres an hour down the straight, and straight up back into second place.
Yeah, so right now XI Racing really seems to have that front two locked out right now. He is challenged quite heavily, though, by JB Ayers, who will send it back down the inside again. He'll back out of it, though. Thinks better of that one. And I think that is definitely going to help him. But he's got Alex Cherney behind him, and Cherney has 2 teammates behind him. So that may be a bit of an issue then, especially if he gets pushed out of the draft, which he is. So Alex Cherney, will he be able to get by Jamie Ayers? Right now, he's still not even alongside of him. Nels Carstensen and Jason Cooper swapping positions as well as they head down into Turn 5. They all funnel in to the very tight Turn 5. We go from a very wide back straightaway to a very tight Turn 5. But everyone gets through cleanly.
Ooh, contacts with an excited racing driver and a Swift Cooper driver. I think that was Carstensen and maybe Beard or McNally. Just losing out there is Nick McKern, I think, trying to go side by side with Adam McNally, but he had to back out to that. Also got another terrific battle between the drivers in about 15th down to 26th places, so I kind of got 2 groups of about 11 drivers. There they are. I mean, this is not a bad battle. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to focus on this too much today, or at least in this first race, because that lead battle is so tight. I think there's been a crash just in the background there. Lots of scraping. And Craig Cameron involved, a lot of drivers involved. Dale Benetton, oh dear, that's, I mean, it was an 11 car challenge. I wouldn't be surprised if it's down to about 5 as these drivers eerily drive back to the pits to fix their cars.
Yeah, and look at this. We still have the battle for the lead going on there. 2x2, 2 back. It will still be Brian Holmes, though, who leads him out with his teammate in second. So right now, the 2 Excite drivers did an amazing job to hold off the SimLab and the Swift Cooper Esports driver, but they're going to quickly swap positions. Jamie Ayers loses that spot to Alex Cherney, and Cherney is going to go up into third place. Now he can set his sights on the 2 Excite cars, but he needs Jamie Ayers to help him here and not battle him if he wants to try and get by them, because the second that those guys swap in positions, it's going to be near impossible.
Yeah, definitely. As Holmes and Ashton block the circuit straight again, seemingly. Not giving one another a bump draft is a possibility. Although difficult to do. It's very easy to miscontrol the car in front. And back to the lead then goes Ashton. 1.2 seconds now separates Cherney, Ayers and Carstensen. So a bit of a divide out to that lead pack. As Mikey Key, leader out of the AM drivers, up in 10th place overall. Super impressive drive from Key so far, and he's slowly making his way up through this train. In fact, as the top 2 again side by side, and this time it'll be Holmes who nudges ahead.
Yeah, so they're doing an amazing job then just to block off the circuit, but they have to be careful about that. But one of them accidentally getting punted by the drivers behind. We've seen it happen before. And there we go, Brian Holmes goes side by side. They definitely are not playing any favors with each other, not doing each other any favors, I should say, and helping out your teammate, but they're still side by side. They're still 2x2, 2 back now. And that's only going to allow Nels Carstensen back into this battle.
Yep, they catch up straight away through these fast sweepers. I mean, look at Carstensen, you're absolutely right. Tyler, because Carson was 1.3 seconds back. He's now, I mean, as close as you could possibly be. Yeah, side by side between third and fourth, Ayres and Journey. I don't think they're helping one another too much across contrary teams. And this is going to form back into an 11-car battle. I think that they're all the stragglers who got a little bit detached joining back this this party. Shocked that we haven't seen a big crash into the King so far. Inevitably, we will do at some point today. Side by side, still between the top two. Ayres is right there. He wants to make up one position, does Ayres, going into Canada corner. But there's absolutely no way through. Were any of these drivers racing yesterday, Tyler? Or that you saw?
Now you're really making me think here. Mikey Key, I do know ran the leader in your AMs right now, but I don't think any of the pros ran yesterday. I could be wrong, but I believe that all of the pros that we're seeing up front right now did not run yesterday. But look at this battle right now. It's pretty much 10 cars deep as they stand right now. So that is insane battle right now.
Yes, and when I was referring to yesterday, of course I meant the BSR MX5 Amateur Cup, which is on the Apex Racing TV YouTube channel, of course. Certainly check that out. 3 wide into turn 1. This is going to be brave from Ayres. He wants to really make a move straight away. Doesn't want to cut that first corner too much, otherwise he'll pick up a slowdown. But it looks as though he's up into second place. Holmes drops back into third. Ashton still leading the way, but Ayres might be able to slip straight down the inside into turn 2. They're going to be side by side and might be able to cover the entire circuit, almost a contact between the two of them. Will Holmes be able to go side by side with this as well? He's just trying to nudge his teammates along a little bit, as trying to go 3 wide with these drivers now. It's Niles Carson. We'll maybe cutting him out. He might just go into the lead 3 wide, going into turn 5. Does anyone miss their braking point? Brilliant driving from these guys, and Carstensen takes the lead for the first time.
Yeah, look at this battle here. This is what I was talking about here with Road America. No one gets away from anyone, and still look at the battle. Jamie Ayres, now Carstensen through the grass, but he saves it nicely and will stay up in the lead. Jamie Ayres not giving Carstensen anything, and Carstensen not giving Ayres anything in return. But these two definitely beating it, banging out front for the lead.
Now the top 13 in this chain. I think we may have had a couple of drivers join this battle. There is Stuart Dick right at the rear of this pack. I've still got, well, we've got 3 minutes to go. So will it be the next lap? Might actually be the last. Yes, it will be the last lap, I believe. Side by side, Ayres leads.
Someone's off in the background. It's Alex Cherney. He keeps it on the track though.
Certainly, some drivers have received a worse fate at that corner when going off the circuit. Ayres trying to break away. Well, it's way off the circuit. I mean, he's off into Michigan, I think, with that off. But yeah, Ayres still leading the way, 0.3 of a second. Has he got a big enough gap though to be clear into turn 1? I guess even if you're clear into turn 1, will you be clear into turn 5? Will you be clear into the King? Will you be clear into Canada corner? And will you be clear on the run to the line as well? Certainly no easy way to win this race. You need a lot more than pace to win it. Carstensen with a bit of damage on his point. That's not going to help him as Ashton moves alongside him. I think Carstensen might be blocked in here. Ashton going right to the inside, trying to block Carstensen in. He wants to make this 2 wide going into turn 1. And it will be Jack Ashton. He's led the majority of this race. He's back into the lead. Now it's Holmes who moves up into second place. And what Ayres really doesn't want to do is drop down to third because, well, the Excite Racing drivers are within range now. They could maybe lock out and just block the circuit. And now they are top 2.
Yeah, and you've got to be careful because this battle is only allowing more drivers to get into this. That's going to be more teammates for Jack Ashton, Brian Holmes, and other teammates along. On different teams. Obviously, Jamie Ayres' closest teammate is Nick McCarron. He's right now down at 8th, so the chances of him getting up into the lead, or getting up at least to help out Jamie, are slim to none. So he's really down to do all the fighting for himself as he dives it down the inside of Jack Ashton. So Ayres really getting the elbows out. He knows that he's the lone wolf for SimLab, but he's definitely doing a great job about it.
yeah, he feels so he needs to lead right now. And there he goes into the lead. Goes Jamie Ayres. Will he be able to fend it off for many more corners? I'm sure he'd like to be the leader. Arguably, second place is the place you want to be, but you are that much more secure in first place. And that is where he is. He's running wide into a lot of these corners, though, is Jamie Ayres. He's really having to push the car very hard. It looks as though it's going to be a 9-car battle with Alex Cherney with that off we saw on the last lap, a little bit detached. Still side by side between those guys. Looks like Mikey Key as well is going on top. The drivers will have to go back to the lead. Still Ayres leading the way through the kink for the very last time in this race. They've got 15 minutes until the clock expires. To the inside goes Ashton. This is now or never. Will Holmes be able to follow through as well? I think Ashton's going to get this move done unless Ayres pulls off something spectacular around the outside. I canter corner, almost contact between second and third. Ayres keeps second place though, and he might still have a good run to the line. We've got just 2 more corners to go. Make that 1 more corner. It's Jason Cooper from absolutely nowhere, barely talks about small race. He's up into the podium places. Could he even win this race as the top 2 hit each other? Round goes Jack Ashton. And I think it might be Ayres to win this one. Cooper, though, with a better run to the line. It's down to half a tenth of a second. It's going to be almost dead level across the line. Cooper is gaining. The line is coming up. Ayres still leads. Cooper now takes the lead. They almost make contact, and it's Jason Cooper who wins race 1 at Road America. What a fight that was. He gained what must have been 4 places, I think, on the very last lap of the race. And I mean, that was textbook stuff. I don't think he necessarily had that one planned, Tyler, but he dealt with that superbly and got the win by 2/100ths of a second.
And I was actually just about to say, just before we went into the final quarter, don't cut out Jason Cooper. And there we go. Ayres absolutely punts his rival then just ahead of him, Jack Ashton. And absolutely punted him out of the way. And wow, that was another bit of contact there. So somebody's not happy about something that happened in the race. Don't know who that was who went flying off. But someone is definitely not happy. That's Ralph Cullinan. So we'll have to see. Maybe I can find a replay then of what happened. Everyone else is just filing across the line as we're waiting on the last of the drivers who had issues. And Scott Malcolm looks to have the biggest issue out of any of them, being that he is almost blown up his engine, but he will finish ahead of all of the non-finishers and will finish on the lead lap, crucially. So he will be able to benefit from the reverse grid if we get a large reverse grid, which is definitely usual, let's say.
Yes, he may well be the advantageous recipient of that reverse grid. Yeah, plain engine for him. I don't really know how he's propelling that car still. He's got 2 minutes to cross the line. I would normally say he could put in the clutch and coast to the line here, but we've seen many times around this circuit that hill on the run to the line is very tall. And it is difficult to get the car up there, but it looks like Scott Malcolm will just about cross the line. He will finish in 32nd place. Everyone else was a lap down, which will mean that they're eligible for the reverse grid. We had 10 of them, I believe. Sure, there were a few instances that we didn't see, but that lead battle, particularly on that last lap, absolutely compelling. Hopefully you enjoyed it back home. And I mean, we've got 3 more races of that, and the race one usually is the least entertaining one because everyone's in pace order, and that was still awesome. So races 2 and 3 and 4 will be quite spectacular, I'm sure. So Malcolm's crossed the line, and so we can go through the final results. And it's Jason Cooper winning out by 1.5 tenths, 1.5 hundredths of a second. He really got it with maybe 3 seconds before they crossed the checkered flag. Ashley Beard finished in 3rd place. Nels Carstensen in 4th. Adam McKnight in 5th. Nick McKern in 6th. Terrific result for Mikey Key there in 7th. He was top of the drivers, I believe. Yes, he was. For result clothing. Jack Ashton got tapped around right at the end. He led going into the final corner. He finished 8th in the end. 2 seconds off the lead. Stuart Dick finished in 9th. There's Alex Cherney, Steve Baxter, Pete Van Gool, David Ayres, Joe Mitchell, Michael Barry, Ray Cullinan, Adrian Hendy, Joe McDonald, Kip Stevens, Ben Mears, and then that was the top 20. Behind that was Charles Kellyman, Rob Graham, Craig Jones, Abelkir Al Amri, Brian Holmes, Andy Maxwell, Cesar Rizzo, Luke Cooper, Carl Yacolet, Steve Hansford, Carl Hardy, and Scott Malcolm. Those were all the drivers on the lead lap and all the drivers who will be eligible for the reverse grid. Drivers who were who pretty much retired were Adam Delmont, Liam Silkston, Martin Sampson, Craig Cameron, Dale Benison, Roots Benison, Juan Ursum, Steve Cooley, James McRitchie, Max Bohr, and Christian Rose did not take. Christian Brown. Apologies, did not take the start. So Tyler, we've got 3 reverse grids to do today, and I think the first one is up on our screens.
Yeah, so the first reverse grid up on your screen, and there we go. Let's roll the reverse grid wheel and see what the reverse grid wheel decides to give us here for race number 1. And it is going to be a -2, so we're going to get a full -2 here tonight. Let's see who that's going to put on pole.
Yes, that will mean that it's not Scott Malcolm, it's not Carl Hardy. Instead, it will be Steve Hansford on pole position. Alongside him on the front row of the grid will be Carl Yacolet, who's been very strong in recent rounds. So watch out for him. Luke Cooper, of course, high up in the championship, currently in the showdown places. He will start in 3rd place with Cesar Rizzo in 4th. Also, Brian Holmes as well, who was running very near the front for a lot of that race. He will start in 5th place. I'll say 6th place in that race. So plenty to be excited about for race 2. Hopefully you'll join us in about 15 minutes time for race 2 of the evening in the BSR MX5 Pro Series.
Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing!
Lee to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Trunkett goes off. De Jong into 2nd place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
Trying this contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that 2nd spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Of the best sim racers, $100,000 on the line. Who will rise to the challenge? This is the most competitive and sought after season in iRacing World Championship history. This is where legends are made. This is the Porsche Esports Super Cup.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Gotta love this time of year. Only one.
Welcome back to the BSR MX5 Pro Series in the iRacing Esports Network. We are griding up for the final race of the evening. Got 6 laps to go, and it is night, as you can probably see, because the headlights are on the cars and it is dark overhead. On pole position for this final race of the evening is Kip Stevens with Dale Benison in second place. Next, Ben Mears, Michael Barry, Abulkir Al-Amri, Jean Ursum, Joe Mitchell, Carl Hardy, Scott Malcolm, and Wouter Van Ness. And that's the top 10. And the rest of the drivers, I'm sure, will cycle through for you now. One of the drivers yet to come onto the grid. Actually, there we are. We've got one of the drivers. A few others are yet to come onto the grid as well. But now, I think we are about to get the green lights on. 6 laps then to round off this evening at Road America. And we are underway. Stevens puts down a little bit of rubber on the circuit, but that's a very clean start for him ahead of Ben Mears and Dale Benison. Already Mears getting ahead of Benison. In fact, and yeah, he's well and truly ahead is the Automech driver. Michael Barry in 4th place, Jean Ursum in 5th. So far, not too many big games. No one's absolutely nailed this up. No one seems to have dropped too far back either. So they go side by side through turn 1. A little bit of a separation between the drivers in 3rd and 4th places. Ben Mears straight away goes for the lead. That is a terrific move on Kip Stevens. Yeah, because both of these drivers an AM driver, I believe, as Benison sits in 3rd place. But once again, Tyler, very impressive from these drivers. They've got through the first couple of corners relatively clean.
Yeah, Kip Stevens actually is a pro, and he's right now leading on the pros by 10 places, but now he's looking to lead overall as he goes back down the inside of Benjamin Mears. Mears obviously has the pace to fight Kip Stevens, but Stevens not allowing that to happen as he dives right back down the inside. And there was someone actually kind of grazing the wall then just off the start. I believe that was Joe who was grazing the wall on the start. And luckily, though, gets away cleanly as I can hear some contact in the background, but no one's around. Yes, there is.
Yeah, a couple of drivers. Steve Hansford, shame for him because I think he retired from race 3 as well, did Hansford. So real shame for him that he's dropped back in this field. But hopefully we might see him later on in the events. Still, Stevens leading the way then. He started on pole position, managed to get that lead back from Ben Mears, because he is a pro driver. Apologies for the confusion earlier on, but this field is ever so close. No big gaps have formed. Everyone's got the slipstream on one another. I mean, we can go down to about 26th place at least in terms of a chain of these drivers. Sure, it's going to separate out, but a lot of pro drivers out of position. Jason Cooper up 3 places, by the way. He's perhaps the favourite for this race. Down the inside goes Abulkir Al-Amri. Superb run for him in the asymmetric driving team. And he's up into 3rd place. That was a really good cutback through Canada corner.
Yeah, and it was actually Dale Benison who really caused all that. He tried to go down the inside of Benjamin Mears. Didn't work out for him. And that allowed Al-Amri, McBarry, and Carl Yacolet to all go by. There's someone around in the background. Who is that? Scott Malcolm involved, Mikey Key not involved. That's Peter Van Gool as well. So a lot of drivers, 2-3 drivers involved in that one as we jump back here to the battle for the lead. Benjamin Mears defending from Kip Stevens, and that's going to be Al-Amri following it through as well. Nick Barry there just in 4th place. Don't count him out, or any really of the drivers inside of the top, I would say 15. All can still win this one.
Yeah, so I think I've probably go even down to about 20th place with Jack Ashton. Currently in 18th place, do not count him out, of course. Could have won race 1, did win race 3 by an incredibly small margin. Certainly watch back that final lap of race 3 when you get a moment after this one, of course, because there's plenty of action still to come in this series. As the drivers head down into turn 5, are we going to see anyone miss braking? Terrific driving so far from these guys today. Really has been clean driving, following on from that terrific round at Mid-Ohio 1 week ago. 3 wide for 2nd place. Kip Stevens staying ahead of Abulkir Al-Amri. Michael Barry staying in 4th place. So not really any change since the last lap in terms of that 3rd and 4th places. But you can see how Jason Cooper is now up 6 places. He's slowly making his way up. I say slowly, he's pretty rapidly making his way up. He started down in 13th place as he's up into 6th now, and he's got a terrific chance at perhaps winning this race after winning race 1, of course.
Yeah, I was about to say, don't count out Jason Cooper. He's always lightning quick, and he's always one of the drivers who can win it, especially whenever he's this far up the grid. He's only 6th place, and keep in mind, we're only on lap 2. So Jason Cooper definitely has an amazing chance to win. Really, any of the drivers have a chance to win. It just depends on how crazy it gets up front, but it's definitely heating up front. Benjamin Mears, Kip Stevens, Abulkir Al-Amri, and Mick Berry there as well. They're all going side by side here down in to Canada corner, but it will still be Ben Mears who will lead the rest of the field out. So he's done an awesome job to hang on to this lead. It's not easy to defend here at Road America, but he's doing an amazing job doing so.
Al-Amri straight away down the inside into the last corner. He was fighting viciously for 2nd place in race 2, and then had a bit of a poor race 3. But he's really looking as though he could get another podium in this race 4 of the evening. Stevens with a good run. Not much of a slipstream though for Stevens. He's looking every which way. Outside, inside he takes. Which driver will Ben Mears give the slipstream to? It seems like he's giving the slipstream to Kip Stevens at the moment. Jason Cooper, he's up into 4th place now. We really haven't seen him make many of these moves, but he's just silently ghosting through this Road America night past the Elkhart's Lake, of course. And now Cooper's up into 3rd place. He's just waltzing through, and he might even be up into 2nd place going into turn 2. This is incredible driving from the defending champion, the championship leader, of course. Mears has got a little bit of a gap. Doubt that will last for too long. A lot of drivers really close to one another. This goes back to probably Wout van Essen in 11th place. 2nd to 11th, separated by probably about 1.5 seconds, if that. Cooper puts his car right on the inside to cover off any sorts of attack. We've got a little bit of 3-wide, a spin around. I think that's Kip Stevens. It is. Fortunately, not too many drivers hitting him. Maybe a little bit of a scrape with a couple, but he should be able to get back on his way. Carl Yacolet out of nowhere. He's gone from his starting place of 11th up into 4th, but a bit of a gap has formed between the drivers between in 3rd and 4th places.
Yeah, and Carl Yacolet, he's definitely a quick AM. Right now, he's 3rd place of the AMs, but I still wouldn't count out Yacolet because he's only 1.5 seconds behind the field. If Jamie Ayres will just work with Carl Yacolet and they won't fight it out, then he really has a chance at getting that one done. So right now, Ben Mears is getting closed in dramatically by Jason Cooper. Cooper's already closed in at 10th, and if those 3 start battling, Benjamin Mears, Cooper, and Al-Amri, then they all could be in for a nice battle here at the end, maybe even back to about 11-car battle again. For the 2nd time here, and that's Alex Cherney, I think it is, off. No, it isn't. That's Nick McCarron. So McCarron, though, gets out of the way of the leaders and allows them to continue on their battle. Ben Mears goes on the defensive. Jason Cooper around the outside, and he'll get the move done, I think. He only has to hold on now through the final corner. And yes, he has cleared Ben Mears, and that's also allowed Al-Amri to go down the inside as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if Mears tries to fight back.
Yeah, so Cooper's managed to escalate the entire field. No doubt that this 2nd half of the race, though, will not be simple for him. Jamie Ayres is all catching up to these guys. We know how quick Jamie Ayres, of course, is fighter who fought for the race 1 victory as well. Here comes Mears again, side by side for the race lead. Mears will pop ahead. Will he be able to keep that lead, though, through turn 1? Yes, he will do. Cooper not putting up too much of a fight. And now, around the outside, terrific move there from Abulkir Al-Amri. Really good pace being exhibited by him. And the drivers behind certainly giving some hope that they can catch up. It is really getting quite dark now at this Road America circuit. The organisers, I think, put this race at maybe sunset, or it must have been later than that, to be honest, but very much getting very dark now in this event. Brian Holmes on the tail of Carl Yacolet. He needs to make this quick so he can keep up with Jamie Ayres.
Yeah, look at this right here, Yacolet, and there's Brian Holmes, that's who we're all born with, and Jason Cooper slides. The whole top 3 take each other out. We'll have to get a replay of that one after the race, but Jason Cooper, who we thought pretty much had this race in the bag, now is down to 6th place and has a lot of damage, and he blocks off Adam Delmont, though, crucially, so he won't be passed by his biggest rival team, I would say, Excite iRacing.
Yeah, we'll certainly get a replay of that at some point, if not now, but after the race potentially. Super interesting battle then, and it means that Ben Mears is into the lead. Jamie, as I was talking about how he might be able to catch up to the top 3, well, he's been given a big helping hand by them, and is in 2nd place now. Carl Yacolet rounds out the top 3 with Brian Holmes up into 4th. Adam Delmont as well, 14 places, he's in 7th, and Stephen Baxter is up 15 places into 9th. Driver who finished 2nd place in race 3. So there's so many drivers who could still win this one, and they're all charging down the front few drivers. Mears, who has led for much of this race, trying to defend from Ayres. Ayres pulls ahead, and he's got the better line as well. He's up into the race lead, trying to sneak down the inside as well was Brian Holmes into Canada corner. But if anything, that's not worked out for him, because now Carl Yacolet will go round his outside. It's constant battling between these guys. They want to all get to the front of this tree. And yeah, staying behind at me is Ben Mears. So as they start lap 5, we've only got 2 laps to go.
Yeah, but Jason Cooper, he's still not too far off this front train. We'll see if he can close back up. And Jack Ashton's actually losing a lot of places. What's happened to him? He's way wide in the last corner. Jack Ashton, he is out of it now. He is way behind the rest of the field. Here is Brian Holmes getting a move on Carl Yacolet. And I think he'll already have him cleared him before they get down to turn 1. But Yacolet will fight back on the inside. Won't have anything to do, though. And now it's going to be Brian Holmes into 3rd place overall. And he's actually may even get by Benjamin Mears here very easily. He decides not to, though, as he knows it's so easy for the driver just to get the move again. That's Yacolet out. And that is also, who else is that? Stephen Baxter? No. Who was that who got into him? Joe Mitchell.
I didn't realize Mitchell was that far up. To be honest, no offense to Joe. How did... oh, I'm very confused now, to be honest, but Mitchell was, yeah, right up the front. Of course, he did very well in race 2, didn't he? Yes, of course he did. I was thinking, how's he that far up? He did very well in race 3, we'll start further back, but no. Mitchell then was quietly going about his business, but then contacts at turn 2, and it's really wrecked those 2 drivers' races. So, is this going to be a 4-way battle? Jason Cooper is catching up to these guys very quickly. Driver who got to the lead earlier on, and he's nearly in range of these top drivers again. Holmes having to defend from Mears. They will probably catch back up to the leaders, and yeah, Cooper's going to have a terrific chance at this. It might be a 4-way battle because Ashley Beard is a further 1.5 seconds back, not quite in the slipstream. Mitchell, by the way, down into 27th position currently. So really has been horrendous for him. Yacolet down into 16th place. So those drivers from fighting for 2nd place in the AM standings. I think they're now in something like 5th and 8th places.
And you are actually nearly correct. You got it right on Carl Yacolet.
That was an incredible guess.
And Joe Mitchell's actually down in 12th. So
right, okay.
loses a lot of places. And obviously they were actually fighting for top 3 overall. So... those 2 definitely wrecking each other's races quite quickly there. Well, I should say Joe Mitchell wrecking Carl Yacolet's race and then wrecking himself in the process. So really unfortunate for him, though, but we'll try to get a replay of both of those incidents. The biggest incident, though, I would say, is the 3 or 4 cars that went around, including Jason Cooper, who was your leader. But Cooper still has a chance, and that is Brian Holmes off, and he's going to lose a lot of time. He did the same mistake his teammate did, but this time is going to lose it off the front group, so that is very unfortunate. But Jamie Ayres has a 1-second gap, and that's going to come down really quickly.
Trying to give the draft to Ben Mears. Currently, he knows that he wants to help Mears out to fight Cooper, but Cooper is going to make this move. Ahead he goes. A little bit cuts him across there of Mears. Mears did well there not to miss his braking points and go straight into the back of the Swift Cooper Esports driver. Off the circuit is Ashley Beard currently, but I think that was just a little bit of track extending, not losing any time. Got this nice battle between Baxter, Delmont, Hardy, Van Essen, could see him up there, Cherney, also McNally and Ashton a little bit detached as well after the issue I think we saw Jack Ashton have earlier on. So plenty of battles going on up and down the field. That's been the story of these 4 races. Been absolute non-stop action. We've never been short of a battle to watch. and it looks as though it's going to come down right to the line once again for the race win, as we saw in races 1 and 3 as well.
Yeah, there's another driver who hasn't had the best of nights. Alex Cherney up 13 places, and right now fighting for the all the way up to about 6th place. So he definitely has a chance to redeem himself and make himself a good night. But right now, Jason Cooper, Jamie Ayers, and Benjamin Mears, that is the battle for the lead right now. But don't count on Ashley Beard. He can still win this race. I know it seems like a long shot at 1.5 seconds back, but it is definitely still possible. And we've seen it happen tonight. So don't count him out at all. Definitely still in contention for the race win.
Anything could happen with these final few corners. Beard has set himself a task. I mean, admittedly, he didn't put himself in 19th place on the grid. It's been quite a difficult task for him. Nearly caught up, may have just needed an extra lap. But Ayres versus Cooper. Can Mears take advantage of this as well? Looks like he's going to finish top of the AMS as Cooper goes down the inside. Ayres giving up the inside line, but will get the cutback for the next corner. Mears is catching up to these guys all the time. However, I doubt that front stretch is going to be wide enough for 3 cars. Shoving him out off the circuit is Cooper, and that might just be it. Mears trying to attack, goes to the outside, and now Cooper's off the circuit into the wall right at the end of this race. The race winner of race 1, he took advantage of a crash at the final corner. It's not going to win, but like I said, Ben Mears, he would have a chance starting in 3rd place with just a few corners to go, but he is going to win as an AM driver race 4 of the evening. What an incredible end that was. I mean, the stewards will have to look at that afterwards, but I mean, in terms of drama and a spectacle, Tyler, that was really up there.
Yeah, and to be fully honest with you, I think that Karma actually hit Jason Cooper there quite hard because he did push out Jamie Ayers. We'll have to get a replay, though, like you said, and see exactly. But from my perspective, at least, it looked like Jason Cooper pushed out Jamie Ayers and then right up in the next corner tried to do the exact same to Benjamin Mears, and that time it bit him very, very hard. So we'll have to see how that all plays out, though. Let's try and grab a couple replays here as the final few drivers are going to go ahead and finish up. And then as soon as we go through the race results, we'll grab the replays before we get into post-race interviews.
Yes, what an incredible race that was. We'll go through those results. And Ben Mears wins out 0.3 of a second clear of Jamie Ayres in the end. Ashley Beard finishes in 3rd place with Brian Holmes in 4th, Steve Baxter in 5th. As Adam Delmont, Alex Cherney, Roots Van Essen, Jack Ashton, Adam McNally, Carl Hardy, Jason Cooper dropped down to 12th place right at the end. He got to the front twice, I think, did Cooper, and dropped back both times. Disappointing for car number 1. Bit of adversity for him today. There's Dale Bennison in 13th. Kip Stevens, despite a spin, that's a decent 14th place for him. There's Liam Silkston, Carl Yacolet, Martin Sampson, Abukir Al-Amri, Craig Cameron, Joe Mitchell, Steve Hansford, Adrian Hendy, Cesar Rizzo, Steve Cooley, Stuart Dick, Michael Barry, David Ayres, Luke Cooper, Rick Cullinan. Those were drivers who were 1 lap down. And then the retirees were Joe McDonald, Niles Castleson, Pete Van Gool, Jeroen Ursum, Mikey Key, Nick McKern, Craig Jones, Charles Kellyman, Scott Malcolm, Andy Maxwell, Rob Graham, and James McRitchie. A lot of retirees from that race 4. I'm sure if we saw all the incidents that caused them, but that is a massive amount, about 11 drivers out of that race. But absolutely, terrific scenes at the end there. I don't know if Tyler, we've got any any replays to witness.
So here is what happened between Jason Cooper and his original incident, which sent him round. Let's get a view here from the chopper cam. So for me, I think he just kind of cut across the nose there. If I couldn't, it was one of the asymmetric cars, but I'm not too sure who exactly that was. But it looks to me like he just kind of cut across the nose of him, which severely cost him then in the end. And then we'll try to get a replay of what happened in that last corner, because I think that was the most controversial, let's say.
Yeah, desperately trying to think of who the asymmetric driver was, but struggling to think of who it was. Ah,
It may
well,
have been.
they'll know who it was.
It may
But-
have been. I can't actually remember anymore.
There you go. There's a few of those asymmetric jars. It wasn't McRitchie. I think it was one of the other ones. But
And I'm just
yeah,
trying to look quickly for the replay of what happened in the final corner.
yes, and this will give some time to the judges to hop into the interview waiting room, of course. And of course, if any judges are watching this back, for the next round, hop into the interview room. We super appreciate having a chat with you guys. It gives us a little bit more of an insight of what's going on in the racing, and it's fascinating to hear your narratives that perhaps we don't pick up on the broadcast.
So here we go. Here's the incidents that caused the last lap drama. We're going to go on the chopper cam. And here's the original. There is the incident with him and Jamie Ayres. So Jamie Ayres trying to squeeze Cooper. Cooper not really having it. And Cooper, that was a bit of netcode on that side of things, I believe. Let's look at that one more time and kind of give me your opinion here, Sam. I think on the first one, it's a bit of 50-50 possibly, but obviously not my decision to make, the decision of the stewards.
Yeah, you can see just cutting back there was Ayres, and kind of gets a little bit pushed up. Yeah, I too. I think Cooper, I think the contact maybe dragged Cooper a little bit wide. And then this second one, it's an odd corner that because it's a little bit of a curve going into the corner. And so it's difficult to tell. Mears felt as though he could straight line that one going into the corner, whereas I think Cooper expected him to curve round a little bit before the corner. So always difficult. And first view of it from me, racing incident. But that's what I usually say. And I have been shouted at slightly from the comments saying, how can that possibly be a racing incident? That's clearly a penalty. But if anyone's got any views, of course, keep it civil on the chat. Yeah, let's hear what you think. We are going to have some interviews. Well, at least one interview. We're going to have a chat with Adam McNally right now. And Adam, that was a decent night for you. I think it was race 2 or race 3 where you were quite near the front. And race 3 as well. You were, final race 4. You made up 13 places and nearly got right up to the front in the end. So a decent day for you as far as I could gather.
Yeah, I had a great night. 3 top 10s and recovered 18th after the race 2 incident. I just got collected in it. No damage, but dropped us right back to the back of the field again. So, like I said, all in all, good night for me. Great night for the team. Scored massive points. A win for Brian. A win for Jack. No, sorry, it was just a win for Brian. I think it was second for Jack, was it? No, Jack did get a win race 3.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he did. So, congratulations to both of them. Excellent drive for the pair of them.
Absolutely, and just take us through your view of that race 2 crash, I believe it was, the one through the kink, which involved, I think, about 15 cars.
Oh, the car in front just moved. I seen there was a few cars spinning round, and I thought I'd just made it. And just as I was passing the last car, another car hit him and it pushed him into my back end and just sent us round doing a 360. And I had to wait for all the traffic to pass. But like I said, I got away with no damage. It's just a bit of an inconvenience.
Yes, absolutely. But like you said, 4 really good results today. And in terms of the championship, I'm not sure how strong you're looking for the showdown this season, but that must certainly boost your chances quite a bit.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm doing quite well in the showdown. I'm definitely making it into it so far in any way, touch wood. But my main aim is the team. Get the team there and hopefully get the season win.
Absolutely, and so of course it's super close between you guys and Swift Cooper Esports. I'm not quite sure what the point standings are at the moment, but is it close?
It's within 200 points still. I mean, after how long we've been racing, it's just unreal. If both teams have kept each other on the toes. It's been some excellent racing with a couple of lads. Really, really enjoyed it tonight. Some great racing. I mean, it's great racing all around the field tonight. And just can't wait to Saturday now to go and have a go of a real one at Croft.
Yes. Well, what cars do you race in? What are you racing at Croft this weekend?
I actually got offered a test session by Close Racing because I've been watching me broadcasts. and they've invited us down to have a test of the MX5. Hopefully, maybe get out in the BRSCC MX5 Championship next year. So it's me aim now. Try and get out into that. Get into some real racing.
Absolutely, that would be the dream. Absolutely, I think you told us a little bit about that last week, actually. But yeah, that sounds absolutely terrific. That you guys are going to be able to try that out. Hope you have a good day out there, Adam. And before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, you guys for the broadcast, Jamie and all the lads who do the work behind the scenes, all the drivers for putting on a great performance every night. And then we've got our sponsors, Excite Energy, Motorsport Days Live, Premature Baby Foundation, Racing Mentor, ESG UK, and AR12 Gaming. Also Lux Sim 24.
Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Adam, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Right, thank you very much.
So that was Adam McNally, of course, for Excite iRacing team. Great to have a chat with him, or to really take more notice of Adam's results, I must say, because hopefully he'll be a bit more of a regular with us in the commentary box after also joining us last week. And yeah, once again, to all the drivers, do have a chat with us. We'd super appreciate it because, yeah, it is fascinating to hear from you guys to have all your different angles of the racing. But Tyler, I think that's pretty much us out, I think. But I mean, once again, a really good round here at Road America. And it was terrific after the racing we saw at Mid-Ohio, which I thought was the best racing we've seen all season. I mean, we did have one pile up around this circuit, but that's kind of what you're going to expect around a high-speed circuit like this with the corners that this track includes. And I thought the drivers really did a good job at minimizing those crashes, especially on the opening lap.
Yeah, I do totally agree with you. I think that they really do a good job these last few weeks of not having any crashes, of really staying consistently clean. And we really haven't seen all of that huge pileups, morally being single or two-car crashes, which is great to see because the level of racing is really rising as the weeks go on. The AMs are getting better, and they're starting to catch up with the pros, I must say. And so it's just creating better racing all the way around with all the different drivers. So it's absolutely wonderful to see. And I'm really excited to get into the next part. We obviously will have a break for week 13, which I think that's part of the reason maybe why everyone's calmed down, because they know that they can just go wreck all they want in week 13 and it doesn't count anything against them.
Absolutely. Hopefully some good iRacing events being held next week. I haven't had a look myself, but there's usually a few fun series. So, because if you're an iRacing member, do check that out. And if you're not an iRacing member, well, what are you doing? Sign up. Obviously, it's you have racing like this, which you can take part in. And yeah, certainly sign up for iRacing. And week 13 is a really good week to try out because you can try any car around any circuit, I think, if you want, when iRacing is down on the test.io or website or whatever it is. So certainly do recommend you signing up to iRacing during this period. And yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, next week we aren't going to be covering this series, Apex Racing TV, because it's week 13. So yes, a bit disappointing. We also won't be covering the World GT Championship as well on a Monday night. However, next week we will be broadcasting round 1 of the Sim Racers World GT Championship, and I thoroughly recommend you check that out on the iRacing Esports Network. That'll be next Wednesday. That race will be on, so set a reminder. I think you can do that on YouTube. I've never done that, but make an exception. Do that for next week. It will be a terrific round of the championship. And of course, if you wouldn't mind, please leave a like on this video, share it to your family and friends, and also check out the Apex Racing TV Facebook page, our YouTube channel, our Twitch channel, and also our Twitter page as well. We post a few things up on there as well. But for now, from me and from Tyler, we're going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time.